Good afternoon. Today we're going to take a look at developing a squared round. So I'm just going to get my mic a little closer so you can hear me. And I'm just going to find a generic picture of the squared round here. Here we go. So this is what we're making, is this squared around component and a flat pattern for it. We'll do it in two halves, so it's feasible to be more manufactured at a less tinsmithy home shop. All right. So we're going to start with brand new design, and from here we are going to create a plane in the X, or create a sketch in the XY plane. Let me just bring over my lease. And we're going to go look at what Pony had to say. Yeah, 8-inch round duct to 8 by 10 square. Or 8 to 8. It's a 10-inch square? Okay, so it is 10 by 10. All right. So we're going to make it in two halves, but let's use a center point rectangle. Create a 10 by 10 square. Perfect. I'm going to cut this in half by dividing it and using break from the modify tools. Perfect. Now from here, I'm going to use a construction offset, and we'll make it, let's say, 6 inches high. Perfect. You can see I'm offsetting from that original plane. Now from here, I'll create another sketch. I use a center point circle, and we'll create our 8-inch diameter circle. And we'll also, I'm going to just project this, and we will break this as well. Okay, finish. So all of this was done in the base component. Considering we're going to end up with 2 sheet metal flat patterns, well, 3 technically, 1 pattern for each half, 1 pattern that will be ×2 for each half, and another pattern for the collar. We're going to go in here, create a new component, and create a sheet metal component. And this first sheet metal component will be 1/2. So we're going to go into sheet metal, we're going to go into flange, we're going to go into loft. We're going to select, ooh, is it going to give me half? No, we're going to not put on chain select and see if it'll give me half. Yep. And then down here, perfect. So some things that made this work for me is, let's finish this. Right here too on the forming type, I've got die forming instead of break forming. Break forming, you could put break forming too if you wanted. Perfect. Facet angle, facet amount, facet number. Oh yeah, let's do that. Facet number. What do we usually like on sheet metal for? Yeah, good. Yeah, it's more classic. What was that picture? Let's see what that was on that picture here. See, this is die formed. Oh, they did 12ths, which makes sense. Yeah, we could go in here and just go to 12ths. that's how they did it. Probably just breaking it up by hand. We could go just die form too. It's not going to make much difference to us. Probably give us a better pattern actually. Oh, is my talking guy not working? Hello, hello? Oh, there we go. All right, got to get this mic right up to my face. Okay, so we have half here. Let's see if it's gonna flat pattern for us. Okay, it's a happy pattern. Let's close it again. So let's go into my sheet metal rules here. I happen to have a sheet metal in here, and this is part of the trick because I deal with really thin metal and I don't need Fusion making a whole bunch of allowances for me, because I'm usually only dealing with a lot of 26 gauge, which is quite thin. So I've made this thickness on this sheet metal only 0.001. Okay. Anyhow, let's keep moving ahead. Close. Now from here, I'm going to use create flat pattern, or actually I can enable it. We've already got one. I'm going to go in here and enable this flat pattern, and I want to modify this a bit. So I'm going to go in here and just project everything. Perfect. Actually, I can add my 1-inch flanges from the other menu first. Let's go back and just add my 1-inch flanges. So I'm going to just add some 1-inch cleat and drive connections to the bottom. I could do this in the flat pattern, or I could do it here. At least here it can kind of give us a visual representation. Yeah, this is not going to work at all. Just coming off that angle. So we're going to forget about that part. I'm going to do it in the flat pattern instead. And we'll go in here and I'll create that sketch again. Project all this. Now let's offset some of these faces. You know what? Cancel. I'm gonna use a 3-point rectangle here and create my 1/2-inch overlap that we'll use to spot weld or rivet or clinch lock or whatever kind of fastening a guy feels like doing. I'm going to use that same tool, the 3-point rectangle. It's super handy if you haven't used it. And from here I'm going to create some 1-inch flanges off this. These are for our cleat and drive connections, if you need those. I'm going to assume that we are using a slip and drive connection. Cleat and drive, slip and drive, S&D. And now we'll offset this top. Need a little bit of a collar to roll on there. Probably want a little bit of a relief on here. So now I've got to fight the collar. I'm going to go out halfway and I'm going to put some reliefs on the Pittsburgh, or not Pittsburgh, with the cleat and drive as well. So let's go about halfway and let's say 110 degrees. Oh, perfect. That's not what I wanted. Tab 110. 0, 0. Hair. Perfect. terrain here. How do I want to do this? Let's do it like this. And that's going to become D8. Let's equal this to the same. D8. All right. And let's put a center mark here, and we'll just mirror that over to the other, and I can nip those off, or not create them in the first place, I guess. All right, we'll mirror these two lines here and here. Two of them. This is our mirror line. Perfect. Now let's extrude all these new pieces. We're going to add to our pattern. Good. Now it is super thin, so sometimes it acts crappy, but let's... Hair. Perfect. No. Input has both wires and faces, which is not allowed. Did I accidentally grab a wire by accident? Oops. Let's try that again. Those warning messages sure will tell you exactly what's going on sometimes. Oh, interesting. That's not functioning. Why is that not working? Yeah, well, let's extend those. Perfect. That is unreal. What is going on here? Anyways, having a little trouble extruding here because, you know, nope, I don't want to do that. Just want to extrude here. No, it doesn't like that one for some reason. We'll come back to that one. Sometimes you can have issues like that. Oh, let's try something. Let's go back to the original sketch here. Do some extends here. Oh, 3 point. Let's try that. Finish. Okay, extrude. It doesn't like that. It's weird. Yeah, sometimes there can be issues. Interesting. Well, let's just make a whole new sketch and fix it. XY, and we're going to project. I bet you it's some dumb micro thing down in here. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, look, it's exactly what it is. Some dumb micro thing down in there. Where it was allowing the tiny amounts for the thickness, material thickness. Alright, now it'll work. Extrude. Cancel. Or at least that's not the body I want. Okay. Well, I am having definite difficulty on this area in here, so that's great. Let's get in there and try to make something happen again. 3-point rectangle, please. Let's project a couple real points I can come off of. That one. All right. That was just my poor selection that made that a pain. I bet you this should work without much difficulty here. Oh my God, why? Wires? Where's the wire? Yep. Let's go back in there and activate that pattern again. Why? What does wires mean? Oh, you friggin' offset. So that's what we need to do. We got a little bit of a... That's what it was. That's so dumb. Anyways, let's... Okay. So what happened there, now why that was being dumb, is because there was just the tiniest little bit of an overlap created over here with that offset I did, and it didn't like this tiny little cube here. Okay, anyways, the flat pattern is now complete how I want it to be to make a squared around. So I have my S&D allowances, my 1/2 inch to hold it together, and the collar connection at the top. Finish the flat pattern. It's just going to leave me with this. From here, let's add another collar, or add the first collar. Nope. I'm going to go to this first level. I'm going to create a new component. a sheet metal one. It's going to create my second component. Now I'm going to create a new sketch, and I'm going to put it on that construction plane we made earlier. And we'll do an 8-inch circle. And do a little bit of a chop here. Not 3-point, excuse me, I want this one. I'm just going to put like a 3 or a 1/32 gap in this. Just can't really make a sheet metal thing that's totally enclosed, so let's break this. I could even trim this. Fine. I'm just going to put a little bit of a straight here. Alright, finish sketch, and I'm going to go in here and make another flange. This time I'm going to use the typical flange tool. I'm going to go 2 inches. Alright, and there's our top collar. I'm going to create a flat pattern out of this guy. I'm going to use that little flat section we made to initiate the flat pattern. Now from here, I'm going to add a 1/2 inch allowance for to weld this little piece together or attach it somehow. And I'm also going to make it a 1/2 inch longer. Perfect. And we'll, oh, not 1/2 inch. We need a, oh, I actually don't need any collar on this. I just need the 1/2 inch weld. I thought I was going to need a collar, but I'd put one on the other piece. Do a little bit of relief here. Actually, we'll do that relief all the way from there. A little bit of relief like that. And then we'll do just the slightest relief on this side. Okay, let's extrude these pieces now. Perfect. We'll cut with this one, and then we'll do another extrude to make the pieces back up. Alright, finish the flat pattern. So now if we wanted to make a good rendering, we could finish this up, I guess. Sure, let's go back to the original. And now we have 2 flat patterns. Yeah, let's complete it so at least we can make a half decent rendering of this. So this isn't going to be any part of the tutorial anymore. I'm just going to make enough to, it's not like it's a tutorial, but okay, I'm going to mirror, let's mirror this component. I'm going to use the mirror plane as one of these axes. Perfect. All right. Start another sketch here. I guess I could have just used the first one. Let's do that. Let's just use the first one. Oh, let's get in here. I want to use this component because actually I don't need to either way. Sketch 1, project, sketch 1. Let's see it. There it is. Let's get rid of these bodies. Keep. Just showing me all the other sketches too, probably. Oh, it's chain selection. Ugh. Which is kind of what I wanted anyways. Bodies. -1. This is just for rendering's sake. Go back to our upper level. We should be able to see everything evenly. Render. What are we going to make it out of? What material? I'm going to do this out of copper. Raw. Alright. Let's render this thing, see what happens. Feel like we need some more light to make this nicer. Let's get a different environment going on. There, that's nicer. Okay, I'll let this rendering happen and then we'll go back and deal with the flat patterns. How long is this render going to take? Give it a few more seconds here and then we'll move on. Man, I like to get it up to excellent. Perfect. Okay, we'll save this. All right. Okay, copper squared around. We're going to go back to design here. I think they're going to make us save it anyways, and we should have saved it a long time ago. Copper square to round. And from here I'm going to go create, derive, take the two flat patterns. Okay. I have them here now. I'm going to just move it to see it, basically, making sure I have component selected while moving it. Now let's move this one. And I'm going to create a copy of this component. And let's say Pony was going to make a few of these things. Let's go to pattern. Where are we? Yeah, we'll capture the position here. Let's pattern a few of these. Get an access going. Say we're going to make 4 of these. 3. Let's say 3. Alright. Now from here, let's get a piece of sheet metal laid out, or an envelope, as Fusion likes to call it. We'll put this as 32 by 48. Select. Go into modify. We're going to use our arrange function. Let's go into envelope here. we'll start populating this as we pick new items. Hey, look at that. Can fit exactly 3 on there. Okay. Good. So, yeah, I'm just going to screenshot that, and someone could potentially build that squirt around. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully that worked for you. Take care.